Stress is continued arousal. It continues after the sun goes down, because you're supposed to become relaxed when the sun goes down.
That's right.
If you're tuned into the environmental rhythms, you relax when the sun starts going down. And this is a 24-hour rhythm. Like your arousal reaches a peak about noon in the morning usually, and you're at your best, and then it starts dropping off in late afternoon. And by the time the sun goes down, you should be relaxed and ready for sleep. And then most body processes like blood pressure, heart rate, and hormones reach a very low ebb about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And this is when the Indians used to strike the white men, when they were at low ebb in the early mornings. But stress is a little more than just high blood pressure or high heart rate or sweating hands or cold hands. It also involves secretions, chemical secretions, and chemical events in the body, like secretions of adrenaline and noradrenaline. And the adrenal cortex secretes corticoids. The adrenal medulla secretes corticoids. Then there are two arms of the stress response. One is called the inflammatory process. And this is like what happens when you get a little splinter in your finger. It will fester up. This is an inflammatory process. And some diseases like arthritis or some eye diseases or skin diseases are really an overreaction to a minor irritant. And the overreaction is a disease.
How about heart trouble and ulcers? Aren't those two also stress diseases?
Yeah, they partly are. Ulcers could be the result of an excess of the other type of corticoids, the anti-inflammatory corticoids, which eat up the stomach lining. And it could be that high blood pressure or heart disease is a result of continued arousal, which is more like the high adrenaline response and the anti-inflammatory process.
Isn't stress when the body is out of balance?
Yeah, you could say that. The body is out of balance when arousal continues for too long, and the body doesn't get a chance to rest.
What is that Selye has seen?
Selye has done a lot of work on stress, and he's known as the father of the stress concept.
Where does he live? In this area?
No, he's from Europe someplace, and he's in Montreal. I think University of Montreal.
Yes, I've heard of him recently. He's quite a remarkable man. But also, are you, Dr. Pyron?
Do you have the tobacco somewhere?
Here
it is, right here.
Your
Stress concept. He says that the discovery of the stress concept means to discover, which is not just to see something new, but to uncover sufficiently so that everyone can see and can continue to see forever. And Selye says that a wide variety of different kinds of stressful situations can produce essentially the same responses. Now, these stressors can be extreme cold or heat, extreme physical exertion to the point of fatigue, threats to your life, or just worry from loss of self-esteem. Now, worry over loss of self-esteem is a very prevalent form of stress in most cities today. Now, Selye also says that stressors are additive in their effect. If you're exposed to several different kinds of stressors at once, like extreme temperature, threats to your life, extreme physical exertion, and worry all at once, this is much worse than just having one of these stressors happen. And of course, the effect of a stressor depends upon your health at the time and upon your ability to resist or adapt to the stressor. The stressors are also cumulative. See, the more stress you've experienced in the past, the less your ability to resist stress, which comes along later.
What would that be like?
Well, most stress comes from family and job problems.
Yes, that's
like if you've had a lot of stress from job problems or so forth, and then a few years later you have stress from family problems, and that all adds up together. And then you have stress from other sources. It makes the effect of some stressor coming along later much worse, because these previous stressors have reduced your energy. Now, Selye also says that stress has something to do with the infectious diseases, too.
I believe that.
And like if you've been exposed to a lot of stress, you're more susceptible to infectious disease, like flu, for example. And then he has this awesome note that aging is due to the additive, exhausting, and cumulative effects of stress. So if you don't have much stress, you don't age.
That's very factual, right? That's why babies grow up. They live under stress environments. What can you do to build up resistance to this diabolic stress?
Well, Selye talks about a concept of adaptation energy. And adaptation energy is the ability of the human organism to experience an event which would be a stress situation for another person without that event being stressful. No, for example, if you're healthy, you're not susceptible to diseases. And if you have a lot of adaptation energy, the normal situations of living that causes stress to other people won't affect you.
Then do you consider...
See, you also have diet, which can build up adaptation energy. And you have physical exercise, and you have sleep of the world. All these things can build up your adaptation energy.